I have a recurrence of 3 medical conditions. Perhaps a doctor or some other therapist in the group can help me. These 3 medical conditions developed when I was chairing the World Health Organization Commission on Social Determinants of Health, and they've come back. The first is a feeling of unreasonable optimism and hopefulness. There must be some pills I can take for this condition. The second, linked to the first, is selective deafness. I don't hear pessimistic statements. When people say that'll never work, just flies past me. And the third is a watery condition of the eyes. And it comes on at embarrassing moments. When I visited the Self-Employed Women's Association in Ahmedabad in India and saw how these desperately poor women coming together collectively, improving the quality of lives, this watery condition of the eyes developed. It comes on when I see people triumphing over adversity. And by golly, there's a lot of adversity over which we have to triumph. It is reasonable to ask the question, how could I not be depressed and have a sense of hopelessness? Look what's happened to health in Britain. Since 2010, life expectancy more or less stopped improving. Health inequalities got bigger. Health for the poorest people outside London got worse, went down. If you agree with the general proposition that health of the population tells us something important about how well that society is functioning, society was getting worse. Inequalities in society were getting bigger. We need something very different. I was struck by a graph in the Financial Times, that well-known left-wing journal, house organ of the Labour Party. I'm joking. If you look at Britain's gross domestic product, look at the Netherlands, look at Germany, look at the US. If you take out the richest region, London, the GDP goes down by 14%. In the Netherlands, if you take out the richest region, the GDP goes down by about 2%. Take out Amsterdam. In Germany, take out Bavaria, Munich, goes down by about 0.5%. In the US, it goes down by 3 or 4%. In the UK, it goes down by 14%. If you take out London, the United Kingdom is as poor as Mississippi, the poorest US state. And things are pretty desperate in Mississippi. Life expectancy is declining. Huge problems of racism, lack of social cohesion, and the like. That's where we are as a country, outside London, including the great city of Birmingham. That's our challenge. None of us in this room has very much influence on what's happening centrally. When we talk about social determinants of health, we talk about inequities in power, money, and resources. And we do need change. We do need a new settlement. I was struck, come back to the Financial Times, in Martin Wolf, the chief economic correspondent of the Financial Times, in his book about, I think he calls it democratic capitalism. He says he's an unashamed capitalist, but the current model isn't working. And when he lays out what's needed, it sounds like our 6 recommendations. Give every child the best start in life, education and lifelong learning, better employment and working conditions, people having enough money to live, better environments, housing, neighborhoods, the environments surrounding us, and making healthy lifestyle possible. And that is going to happen at local level. As I said, none of us can change too much about what happens at the national level, although parenthetically, I have tried to talk to the current government without success. I've tried to talk to the Lib Dems with some success, and to the Labour Party. I said to the Labour Party, you remember that Governor Mario Cuomo in the US said, we campaign in poetry and we govern in prose. I said, you guys are campaigning in prose. How are you going to govern? In poetry or in prose? Well, that we have to wait and see. In the meantime, what's happening at local level is why, speaking personally, I'm not depressed, why I am hopeful. I have not, in all the cities and regions and districts we've been working with, I have yet to hear somebody at city government, local government, voluntary sector saying, there's nothing we can do, it's all hopeless. Not once have I ever heard that. People say, essentially, as you said this morning, Deborah, this is the hand with which we've been dealt, and by golly, we're going to do the best we can with where we find ourselves. And that's why this gathering is so exciting for me. That's why this network is so exciting. Colleagues, we are going to change the world. And it's going to start where people are born, grow, live, work, and age. The conditions that lead to health and greater health equity. To get over my watery condition of the eyes, when we launched the WHO Commission in Santiago de Chile, I quoted the poet Pablo Neruda and invited the audience, as I now invite you, rise up with me against the organization of misery. Welcome.